the State Farm Center located on the campus of the University of Illinois. We're going to bring you the Class AA Individual Wrestling State Championships. This is Kevin Burke along with Coach Mike Bukowski. Mike, Thursday afternoon, 224 competitors started with the dream of being crowned a state champion. Only 28 still remain, and we've got some great matchups. Boo, obviously all 14 are going to be great matchups. Tell us some things that stand out in your mind as far as what our fans could look for.
Well, first of all, as usual, the action this weekend has been tremendous down here at the State Farm Center, and we want to congratulate these boys and their coaches for getting to this step. Right now, we have 8 defending state champions that are going to take the mats tonight in Class 2A to try to defend their titles. And right off the bat, we've got 2, really solid matches at 126 and 132 that are going to take everyone's attention. And we'll give you more information about those. But we also have a young man going for his 3rd state title in 2A, Xavier Montalvo Montini. Jabari Moody again is going to be up early for us, and he's a defending champ. The match at 132 with Dylan Duncan, defending champion, and Grant Sutton, that was an overtime match just a week ago. So we've got some great action coming up in the 2A finals tonight.
Yeah, we're really excited about what's going to take place here. Stay tuned for our Class 2A Individual State Championships.
The IHSA is achievement, focus, creativity, spirit, champions. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
At 106 pounds in the 2A category, a junior with a record of 34-11 from Washington, Trey Keeley. His coach, Gary McIntosh. His opponent, a freshman with a record of 38-3 from Montini, Rio Woods. His coach, Paul Ferris. In the 2A, a senior with a record of 40-0 from Rich Central, Jabari Moody. His representative, Jaleel Moody. His opponent at 113 pounds, a sophomore with a record of 43-8 from Washington, Dan Hunky. His coach, Jason Medlin. In the 2A, a senior with a record of 19-0 from Washington, Elijah Oliver. His representative, Eric Oliver. His opponent, a junior with a record of 47-5 from Bloomington, Jack Henderson. His coach, Justin Hale. In Class 2A, a senior with a record of 45-2 from Oak Forest, Dan Swan. His coach, Sean Morris. His opponent, a junior with a record of 37-4 from Montini, James Powelski. His coach, Jordan Blanton, a junior with a record of 41-5 from Montini, Dylan Duncan. His representative, Jessica Medina. His opponent, a senior with a record of 42-1 from Richmond Burton, Grant Sutton. His coach, Brad Logan.
And in Class 3A,
Class 2A, a senior with a record of 45-0 from Rockford Moylan, Alexander Butler. His coach, Dalton Muller. His opponent, a junior with a record of 33-3 from Geneseo, Hunter Drow. His coach, Tom Rush. In Class 2A, a senior with a record of 41-2 from Montini, Vincent Turk. His coach, Kyle Hughes. His opponent, a senior with a record of 38-2 from Ottawa Township, Daniel Close. His coach, Steve Dorr. In Class 2A, a senior with a record of 46-0 from Mount Vernon, Chase Fosberg. His coach, His opponent, a senior with a record of 37-6 from Montini, Luke Fortuna. His coach, Tom Willing. In Class 2A, a junior with a record of 44-4 from Washington, Randy Miniweather. His coach, Randy Miniweather. Chicago Heights Marion. Cordell Northleaf, his coach, Daniel Jordan. In Class 2A, a junior with a record of 45-4 from Troy Triad, Coyle Witzig. His coach, Russ Witzig. His opponent, a sophomore with a record of 45-3 from Washington, Jake Warner. His coach, Tom Tennyson. In Class 2A, a senior with a record of 40-3 from Montini, Xavier Montalvo. His coach, Vinny Marty. His opponent, a senior with a record of 39-6 from Bremen, Javier Soto. His coach, Mike Collins. In Class 2A, a senior with a record of 44-0 from Crystal Lake Central, Andrew Marsden. His coach, Justin Blair. His opponent, a junior with a record of 42-0 from Tinley Park, Eric Schultz. His coach, John Duffer. In Class 2A, a junior with a record of 38-1 from Crystal Lake Central, Romeo McKnight. His coach, Steve Glasper. His opponent, a senior with a record of 44-5 from Washington, Jake Godinez. His coach, Nick Miller. In Class 2A, a senior with a record of 18-0 from Montini, Michael Johnson Jr. His coach, Mike Benefield. His opponent, a senior with a record of 40-0 from Highland, Nick Czar. His coach, Gary Howard. Performed by Ryan Ganson of Geneseo High School, who has been selected to perform the national anthem at this year's IHSA Individual Wrestling State Final Tournament.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the
And they seem to have the clocks all set, so we're going to get ready and give you our first match. And like Boo said, we're looking forward to a great one out of this. Two quality kids with mad experience in the state finals. This is a good way for us to start. Again, 126 pounds.
Momentarily here, it looks like they
want to start them all together. Swan will be green on your scoreboard. Kowalski will be red for those of you that are watching. And we're set and ready to go. You heard those magical words, let's wrestle. Nice low shot by Swan. He's in deep. Kowalski bails and Swan twists. That's a pretty takedown on the whistle.
Well, right off the whistle there, he did a great job of lowering his level. And Kowalski got caught a little off guard there, I think. Great job by Swan to come right out.
And that could be what you were just talking about, maybe because of the delay getting started. Kowalski didn't walk out there with his right set of mind. Now he's down 2 early in the match. Swan's got legs in, maybe a little high, but he's riding it tough from there. I like the way he slid that leg in. Bowie came over the arm and grabbed the wrist so that Kowalski couldn't reach back and peel the leg off.
Right, he was very tight, and he kept his weight center. A lot of times that's a mistake younger wrestlers will make. They'll get off to the side because they try to be too aggressive. You have to look at control first. I think we might have a blood situation here, looks like, possibly.
Yep, got a cut around the right eye. And for those of you unfamiliar with the sport, You get 5 minutes of total blood time. You can take as many blood stoppages as you need to.
You can see the blood clock there in the corner, those of you that are here. And that hardly ever comes into play, Kevin, but you know, I can tell you in my years of experience, there has been a few times where that clock has gone down. You don't think 5 minutes is something attainable, but there's been a few times where I've seen that thing dip under a minute and you start to worry.
We had one in the sectional this year that got to under 30 seconds. I really felt bad for the boy because he ended up qualifying for the state tournament, but this was in the first round, and he just had a bloody nose. It just wouldn't stop. But they finally got it. They ended up taping his face so that the blood wouldn't come through anymore. But he did finish the match, and like I said, ended up wrestling down here. Swan again has leg in tight. Kowalski comes to a tripod stand.
Swan's doing a good job. He knows that when Kowalski comes up, now he goes right into that crotch lift. He doesn't want to give up position. So when Kowalski comes up, he doesn't want to be caught with that leg in because that could be a potentially dangerous situation. So he doesn't want to lose control there.
Again, got the leg in, just trying to stay tight. And now they warned the top man for stalling. Again, that's always a tough call with the leg in. Your leg in, he's moving around quite a bit, trying to look for a turn, but not able to do it. And that time they warned him for stalling. Slides the legs in again. Again, under 20 seconds, big ride out here if he can stay up there and ride this out.
Well, he's doing a very good job staying aggressive. I know he got hit for stalling here. He wants to try to get through this period. A 2-0 lead in this kind of match without giving up an escape is a huge, huge advantage coming out of that first period.
Yeah, we always talk about scoring last is really important, and he's going to ride him out for the period. And we'll go to the second period. Kowalski will take neutral. Didn't want to be underneath those legs.
Well, now he's much more aggressive off the whistle there.
Needs to run to his left.
He's trying to bring that knee in and step over that leg. He wants to hook it. As you see him there, he's trying to work to that. Swan's doing a very good job. He wants to keep his chest tight to not create space there.
Looks like he's just like a stalemate. And
that's exactly what he did there.
Good call.
Referee Kenny Watkins stepped in and gave a stalemate. Now Swan's coaches were up out of their chair there briefly for a moment, emphatic about making sure he's ready for that quick shot on the whistle.
Nice head snap.
Good control to that right leg there. Swan's in good position here.
Yeah, real nice. Again, this is always a tough call. When does this become two?
Yeah.
Kowalski doing a nice job keeping through the crotch, and he's looking for a stalemate, I would guess.
He's a little too low there. Swan's going to be able to twist those hips. This is a tough position right here.
Again, leg in, maybe putting, there you go, there's the takedown.
Now there's an interesting spot. A lot of people, you know, that's sometimes a controversial call when you slip that leg inside, but it was a takedown.
Yeah, we always talk about maybe when you get that leg in, put in a far side half to show that you have the control.
Great job on a reshot there by Swan.
Seen a lot of quick shots off whistles with these kids.
Well, they both do a great job of lowering their level.
And that's the important thing we see with takedowns. So many people believe, gee, I'll just shoot on you. You got to, like you said, lower the level, get the hips down, bend in the knees in order to get in. Another quick shot by Kowalski.
See how Swan comes around there. Kind of a boot scoot there. And Jimmy Kowalski's trying to keep his hips back and not allow Swan to boot scoot around the back there.
Under 15 seconds in the period. Again, we're going to get a stalemate. How do you like that stalemate call when you see no action? If you're a coach, what do you feel?
Well, obviously the intent of the rule is good. The only time you have a problem with that as a coach is because it's so hard to regiment, because all the referees will interpret that differently, and that's what will
cause you some turmoil as a coach, because you really don't know from one referee to the next, and nor could you know. It's not something that can be, because it is an opinion type of call, but it's definitely something that needs to be in our sport. We've got to encourage action.
Swan takes the bottom, gets the early escape. He'll lead 5-1. And now here's Swan. If you're coaching him, yeah, you got a 5-1 lead, minute and 40 seconds to go. You stay, I won't use the word stay conservative, because he's been so aggressive and doing well, but make sure you do it right if you're going to go after something.
Well, what you're looking for if you're Swan is that you know Pawlowski's going to be aggressive, and start pressing here now. So he scored once off of a reshot, and that's something I think he'd be looking for here.
It's good position for it if Pawlowski comes up wrong.
Absolutely.
Came up correctly, kept the head underneath.
So, Pawlowski now with a minute 20 left, down 4. He's got to open up a little bit. He's going to need more than one takedown, obviously.
Either take him down to his back or multiple takedowns. So he's got his work cut out for him here. Pawlowski running to try and get it. Sutton Holt did a nice job of controlling that elbow so far.
Yeah, he wants to still face him there, keep that right leg back. Did a good job there defending. Jimmy's trying to get him.
We're under a minute left, 5-1 still. A lot of action will go out of bounds. 46 seconds left in the period.
There is a stalling call here, so that's one thing Pawlowski's thinking. He needs a takedown, a stalling call, and he needs to, again, try to get that last second takedown. Now is a great reshot there, just like we were talking about.
Just like you called, real good.
He's just trying to stay square here. He doesn't want to give up anything big.
If you're Swan, you just hold on to that leg and milk that clock. They're under 25 seconds now.
And Jimmy's going to pop out. He's going to boot scoot here.
Swan just holding on for dear life, keeping that knee up by his ear. Now he pops his head and looking to score. And there we'll have our champion at 126 pounds. Danny Swan, last year, Boo, you said he won it at 113, moves up to 126. To earn another championship. He beats Jimmy Pawlowski from Montini.
Good match there, 2 seasoned guys. Great way to start the night. Congratulations to Dan Swan on a tremendous season and a way to end his senior year.
All right, again, we're going to be keeping it updated with all the other things. Remember, we'll wait till all 3 matches are done to start our next match.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
To 132 pounds, and again, Boo, this is one we talked about before. This should be a great one for us.
Well, we've got a defending state champion again last year at 120 pounds, Dylan Duncan from Montini. And Dylan has put together a great year. He's not lost this year in the state of Illinois. His opponent is Grant Sutton from Richmond Burton. And Grant was a runner-up last year at 126. It was a great match last week that went to overtime in the sectional. So these two have been on a collision course all weekend again. And as you said, Kevin, this is going to be another barn burner match.
And we're going to see that a couple times tonight, repeats or rematches in the sectional. How hard is that for these two two kids to come back and then compete a week later?
Well, you know what? It's funny because that goes a lot of different ways. A lot of people say that the revenge match, there's always that revenge factor. You see it go a lot of different ways. But, you know, a lot of times these matches can come down to obviously one move or one mistake, but also a coin flip. And, you know, whoever gets to, in a 0-0 situation, whoever gets a score in the second period first with an escape. So a lot of things can factor into that.
All right, our officials for this match, Anthony Clark's the head referee, Bill Honeycutt's working with him. And again, we always got to mention the officials, Boo. We both know that's probably the most difficult job in the sport. Coming out there, spending 3 days working matches all day long, then be ready to go for the ultimate match here on Saturday night.
No, there's no doubt about it. And these two guys are two of the best. They've been around a while, and they really have you know, a lot of experience between them. And both of them are very level-headed guys, which I think is a huge, goes a long way towards being a very good official.
Yeah, we're going to talk later if we have time about what makes a good official, and you just mentioned probably the biggest thing. Again, Duncan's underneath, controlling the elbow. Sutton got a nice sprawl, tried to bull rush and look for an ankle pick. Duncan bailed out.
Sutton does a good job with hand control, and that's going to be part of the match.
I like the way head snaps that and then comes underneath into a shot as you sprawl and then come back to him.
Duncan uses a variety of ties. He likes that Russian tie, and he'll work inside. And of course, you know, he does a real good job on top too. And both of these guys are tough to score on. You know, they don't give up points very easily, so that's why these matches are usually very tight.
And again, it'll be one of those ones where it's going to be low scoring, but I think we're going to see a lot of movement and attempted things as far as technique, looking for certain moves. Because we've already seen some neat things, and it's been a minute and 45 into the match so far, but still no score.
We're under 10 seconds here.
And we're going to end the period at 0-0. And again, both coaching-wise from here, assuming you win the flip, most coaches say take down to get the first points. That's philosophy you guys have always used?
Yeah, we've always done that. You know, that's something that you know, we want to have that hammer in case the match does prolong and go into that ultimate tiebreaker. You know, that's something that you want to have in your back pocket, and you just never know. Sutton's up right away. He's working real hard to get those hips out and gets that escape.
And what we're talking about there would be if you go to the ultimate tiebreaker after the 8 minutes, first points would get their choice to be top or bottom. It's always good, like Coach said, to have your choice.
It's like he caught an inadvertent finger to the eye there.
Nice ball. I like the way Sutton gets those hips back. Duncan's trying to drive into him to bring the hips up.
Sutton's a little bit longer of a body type, and he does a good job of staying low and protecting his legs.
Again, we talk about consistently. Right now it's 1-0 after 3 minutes, and these kids are moving around looking for certain things. Obviously, they're looking for something that's going to win it for them. Like you mentioned, one takedown's probably going to win this match. And look for it, set it up maybe in the third period and go after it.
Well, Kevin, you mentioned before, you know, you asked about wrestling a kid from a week ago into the same week, especially in a tight match. And that is one thing that I think that the wrestlers think about, is that they understand the kind of match it's going to be. So there has to be a fine line. They can't be reluctant to open up and try to score. And sometimes that's tough, you know, with the young kids, because they do know that one mistake, or if they take a shot and it becomes a bad shot and they get scored on, that could mean the match. So, you know, sometimes they have to really be able to open up, and that's a tough battle sometimes with young people. We get another stoppage here for an inadvertent eye poke.
Yeah, like you mentioned, they do a lot of hand fight, and Sutton's going a little high with some of those.
Right.
Oh, the clock went out on us, and assistant referee Bill Honeycutt's doing a great job of counting the time on the side, so we know. Again, you mentioned earlier that's the assistant referee's major job, so we're not going to be able to keep you informed on the time here.
Well, that's exactly case in point, Bill. We're winding it down here.
Electricians event 2, please.
And now what Tony's waiting to do here is wait for a stoppage, wait for a situation in which nobody
give him a chance to
gains
score.
advantage, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that must have ended the period.
That did. That was a great job by the officials there. I know that they take a lot of flack, Kevin, sometimes for some of their calls, but that's the way it's supposed to work right there.
Well, again, I'm an officials advocate. I think they do a great job. Every time you make a call, somebody's not going to like it, obviously. And those of you that think you can do this, hey, step in and help us out. We need some good officials. If you think you could help, be good, go to the IHSA website and sign up and become one.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, in my travels as a head coach, we went to, you know, numerous states to wrestle, and I'm going to tell you something. The Illinois officials, you know, they're among the best. You know, there's not a lot of other better groups out there, and we found that out. Sometimes you think the grass is greener. You hear people complain about the officiating, but I'll tell you what, these guys do a pretty good job.
Dunking up right away, and he earns his one. So we're right where we thought we'd be, Coach. 1-1. Now the clock's out again, but we're counting it. So again, we went out with about 1:50. Again, like you just said, this time because there was no action, nobody with a real chance to score. Right away, they broke it.
Right. This is a tough thing here. I'm wondering what the problem could be. Obviously.
It makes it hard on the kids.
Well, it does.
It takes away the momentum of the match and puts them out of sync as far as trying to do some things. But also gives you a chance to coach them up a little bit. Though.
Sure, yeah, that's another opportunity with that. So
apparently they're not going to get it to work real quick because they're calling over the coaches.
Well, from the body language down there by the officials, what I'm thinking they might do is just go to a hand clock that they have on the table. That's what it looks like they're communicating. I don't know. We'll obviously see that very soon here.
All right, well, we'll try and keep you informed by running a stopwatch up here, but remember, we're just guessing for you. And it is 1-1 sometime in the middle of the third period.
I think there's about 10, 15 seconds. Ah, there it is, 1:46. Yeah, there you go.
So here we go. 1:40 left, third period, 1-1. You always tell kids, yeah, get yourself third period, tie score, win the match.
Right. Duncan has tried an outside single to both legs, and you know that shot there he didn't really commit to. I think he'd rather get a reaction from Sutton. He's trying to get inside with a tie. He's trying to work something off of his defense there. That's where he wants to be. He likes being inside there tight.
He's got that 2-on-1 Russian buried on him, taking the steps to look to score with it, and wasn't quite able to do it. Just over a minute left in the match.
Right. He's trying to step through there right now.
And your 3A champion at 132 pounds from St. Rita, Austin O'Connor.
And he shoots him out. We're under 50 seconds left.
Sutton looks like he's being a little more active here in this last 45 seconds.
Yes, he is. He's pushing the action a little bit, maybe looking for that warning for stalling, as like you say, have available if you need it in some type of situation.
Your 2015 1A state champion from Cole.
There's a nice throw by.
Yeah. Front headlock on. Sutton should just stay right there because he can't possibly score. Again, that's using the mat to your advantage.
We're under 10 seconds here.
And we'll go to overtime. For those who aren't familiar with the state's overtime rules, first part of it, and there are actually 3 parts. First part, on your feet, first points would win. Nobody's been warned for stalling, but it could be a stalling call, illegal hold, whatever the case is. Most times we see a takedown if it would end here.
132-pound
Again, Duncan's having a hard time getting the shot off because Sutton is doing a great job with his hand control. You can see that he's got that wrist put on the mat there. Duncan can't penetrate.
Trying to get an angle off that too, like you were talking earlier. Inside 30 seconds. Boy, he's sure fighting to get through there, but like you say, I don't see it working. Maybe he might want to go to his second move.
We're under 10 seconds here in the first overtime period, sudden death. He's got that Russian again.
All right, we'll go to 5 seconds here. Here's where you just be ready in your stance to make sure nothing unusual happens, and that's what both kids did real good. Now the second part, this is not sudden death. There'll be 2 30-second periods. You see Tony Clark flipping the coin. He'll give somebody his choice. You get your choice, one of them. The opponent gets his choice in the second one. But the match doesn't end. It'll be a cumulative score after the 2 30-second matches. So how about there, Boo? He didn't defer. Do you like taking the bottom right away?
Yeah, I think you know, there's different schools of thought on that. I like to get down and get those points. Now, Duncan usually can ride on top. You know, it depends on his mindset right now. He's going to be in there tough. He's got to keep that hip in there tough.
Keep that leg up by your head.
You see, this is the dangerous thing here for Sutton, is that when you get into these kind of scrambles, it takes a lot of time off the clock.
Under 5 seconds. Take the stall warning if you're Duncan here.
And that's, you know, how you got to coach your kid. You really got to make sure that you don't sit on that hip and turn in, because you've got to have action out and away.
Because, you just let him, okay, now you're Sutton here. You're going to try and ride him for the tie, or you're going to cut him and hope to take him down for the win?
Yeah, I think what happens, you know, with this is I think you're going to look at, if you can bust him off that first move, you're going to try to ride him out. But if he gets to his feet,
like this,
you're not going to want to hang and let him have a chance to score with 4 or 5 seconds left. So right there now, he's going to go after him.
Here's where Sutton has to watch the action.
Right.
No stall warnings, so he's...
No. And Duncan's got to be real smart here and keep his hands low. He's got to circle. And Sutton's got to keep that pressure on. He's got to get multiple shots right there, just like that.
Duncan did a nice job of bailing out towards the edge. Nothing stalling. He just sprawled and turned his hips to get there and got himself out of bounds with less than 9. Now here's where I just start running around. Not running, but moving around.
Well, he's being smart right here. Yeah.
Got to the edge again, and I can't possibly score with it. That's another nice match. It kind of ended the way we thought it would. Very competitive at the end. And your state champion at 132 pounds, a repeat champion for us, Dylan Duncan from Montini.
Again, a great match, just like we thought it would be.
From the gridiron to the hardwood, on the links or on the track, on the diamond or on the ice. Go to prepfilms.com. It's easy. You can order your DVD online. At prepfilms.com, you make the memories. We'll make them last forever.
I'm standing here with Dylan Duncan, Montini Catholic Broncos in the house. Dylan is the newly crowned Class AA 132-pound champion. Dylan, how you feeling right now?
It feels great. You know, I don't feel very well about the match because I couldn't get my shots off. I've been kind of sick this week, but, you know, you got to be happy with it.
Well, and I mentioned that you're 39-5. You're, however, undefeated in the state of Illinois. Those are national losses. You're a cadet national champion. You know, Fargo, the whole bit. What's it feel like now to put that Illinois bracket board on the wall?
You know, it feels great, and you can't do these kind of things without the support of your friends and your family and your school. So It's real nice.
Now, Dylan, you're in there with a tough customer today. He was 42-1 coming into the match. Tell us a little bit about how your national schedule played into a tough, tight overtime win like that.
You know, with like the places we go and the tournaments we have to wrestle for our season, you know, Izzy said during the season, like, we don't want anyone on our team to come out without a loss. Everyone has to have a loss because those kind of things you can build off of, and you know what you did wrong when you lose.
Well, there you have it, the state of Illinois. The secret to Dylan Dylan's success. You know, just a great, great match. Congratulations, state champ. Job well done.
Thank you.
Rematch of the sectional last year.
Well, 38 here, we've got Alexander Butler from Rockford Boylan and Hunter Grau from Geneseo. So Hunter was a third-place finisher at 126 last year in the state, and Alex Butler was a second-place finisher at 132.
Yeah, and they're both wearing green singlets. Butler has the darker shoes with the green stripes, and he'll be green on the scoreboard for you. Yeah, it's a real good match last week in the sectional. Butler was just a little too quick for him towards the end and got the win, so we'll see if Grau's changed his game plan a little bit. Our head referees, Scott Blankenship, and Jeff Sorensen's working with him as the assistant. Again, we haven't had a chance to mention the coaches because things have been going so well. John Murray sits in the corner for Geneseo, and Dalton Bullard is up there at Rockford Boylan this year.
Well, the Geneseo program has done a great job the last couple of years. I know that they've got a couple of state trophies and have really been kind of pushing the pedal a little bit, and kind of been one of the teams that's leading a little bit of a resurgence here in Class 2A. It's good to see that.
Yeah, we had a chance to go up. We competed in their regional this year, and then we're in the same sectional, and I've got to know Coach Murray, and he runs a quality program. They last 2 years have been second to Montini in the dual part and done a real nice job, and their kids program just feeds right into them. They got a great kids program who brings these kids in, and then Coach Murray and his staff work with them, and they just keep improving year after year.
Well, there's a nice try at a knee pick there.
Oh, Grau, nice move.
Grau is very aggressive.
Yes, he is. He's real sharp on his feet, as you'll see. So he gets the early lead, 2-0. Butler just based out on that. Now he comes to more of a power stand. He's up on his feet. Grau dropped to a single.
Tries to step through there. Nice job with a mat return.
And that's so important. Boy gets to his feet. You got to get into the mat or you get hit for stalling. And as we've seen, these matches are all so close. You don't want that stalling call.
Well, he's got 35 seconds left here in this first period. And again, as we've said before, if he can ride out here,
and we're going to go on, looks like blood time with the bloody nose.
Takes a little bit of a break here. But, you know, as I mentioned, the Geneseo program is one of those programs. And I know that Washington has had a lot of success the last couple of years as well. And Oak Forest, we just saw a state champion, and they've got a boatload of qualifiers down here too. So I know that, you know, being a faithful, you know, purveyor of Illinois Mat Man, I see that Class 2A takes a lot of beating in terms of the quality of wrestling. And, you know, part of the split when we went to 3 classes, just the way things shake out. And I think in the last 2 or 3 years that there's been a lot of programs that have been up and coming, and it's great to see that for wrestling.
Well, the reason to me they're up and coming is because these kids get a chance. Hey, I can go down and get a state medal or win a state title. No longer do they have to deal with a lot of the larger schools north of I-80 that have enrollments are quite a bit higher. And so, yeah, I know in our area, which is the Peoria area, wrestling's, oh, nice throw by Butler. He got real active, drew him for the and ends up out of bounds, so it'll be 2-2. And we talked about earlier, that's big points. He scored with only 13 seconds. Now a ride out would be huge.
Right, and it just turns the tide of the match right there.
Grau's on his feet. Nice job by Butler to maintain top position.
Well, not only does he not give up only the 1, he gives up the 2 and basically erases all that work for the takedown.
He did. But going back to our point with the AA part of it, yeah, I look for, like you do, next couple years, AA is just going to get better and better as far as things go. And as we were talking about earlier, these top-level AA kids could step over on that AAA mat and do very well for themselves.
Well, some of them have. I know we've seen matchups all year with several of those kids doing it. Of course, obviously the depth isn't there, which is why there are larger schools in 3A, but you know, that's something I like to see.
Oh, I like the way all of a sudden that Butler's got it moving. He's putting it in extra gear to see if Grau can stay with him. Look at that.
Grau's Grau's a little too low on that arm. Butler's got an angle on that. And we get a stoppage here.
That looks like blood again.
Could be blood.
And again, the rule on that, referee sees blood, he's got to break it and stop it, right? No matter what position they're in. And again, we mentioned Dalton Bullard coaching over there at Boylan. Young coach getting into the sport. We need that. You and I both know it's a lot of coaches are getting a little bit older and need some good quality people to step in and run some of these programs.
Well, Dalton, if those of you that were here tonight, you know, you saw us introduce our grand marshals, and one of them was Steve Marinetti, who currently is the coach at Elmers, and Dalton was an All-American for Steve a couple of years ago. Wrestled for Steve there, and in 2012, Steve's team finished second in the nation, and I know that Dalton was one of the 3 or 4 All-Americans that they had. He mentioned they had a national champ the year after Ryan Prater. Mike Benefiel, Montini assistant, was a national champion on that team with Dalton Bullard. So it's good to see those guys.
And I got a chance to meet with Coach Marinetti, talk to him a little bit of interview type of stuff. He seems like just a great person and a great coach. So I can see why he's having the success up there.
Very much, very much.
Again, Butler's forcing the action, really taking it to him. Oh, nice move. Let's see if Grau can keep his toes in. Nope, they go out of bounds. Again, this is one of those matches, Boo, we talk about. A lot of action, just not much as far as scoring so far.
Right. Great match, though, but that's sometimes misleading, because just because the points aren't flying doesn't mean these kids really aren't working at it.
This is the same scenario it was last week. Real low scoring, but a lot of things going on. Now it looks like they're resting a little bit after we just complimented them on.
Oh, nice shot there. But great reaction by Grau.
We're under 45 seconds to go, second period. 3-2 in favor of Grau. Grau's got that locked up again.
He's in that crusher situation, but Butler goes right back to it.
Now here's where the high school rule is just going to hook both of them. He's trying to keep the toes in.
Yeah.
Those, once one toe comes out, they got to call it out of bounds. And from that position, there's nothing Butler could do to score. This would have been college. They would have given him a chance to get something on the side.
Right.
We're under 25 seconds to go. Again, Butler's forced the action quite a bit, and the referee looked at Grau and said, basically, you're backing up instead of maybe trying to spin to stay in. So he did warn him, but warnings don't cost you much yet. It's the second time they hurt you. And we'll go to the third period, 3-2 in favor of Hunter Grau from Geneseo. Butler's going to take bottom. And again, see, the one time he tried more of a power stand, didn't work out for him. Last time he tried an explosive stand. See what he goes to this time. More of a slow power type of stand up there. And there's the escape. We're 3-3 with 150 left.
Well, here's where look for Butler to really try to get his feet moving here and create some opportunities based off some scrambles. He wants to use his athleticism.
Yep. Here's where the stall warning against Grau could come to hurt him, because if he needs to be maybe a little more aggressive. Grau's got the hips solid on him. See if he can snap that and get him back to his knees. But again, Butler's playing it smart. He knows he's there at the edge. Grau can't possibly score from where they were. 109 left in the match. We're 3-3. you talked about at the beginning, Boo, a lot of these matches would come down to that 1 or 2 takedowns late in the match to see who's able to get them.
Absolutely. Butler's keeping the pressure on. He's trying to look for that next stall call too. Grau's got to be very careful. He's got to make sure that he's reshotting off of those shots.
We're under 45 seconds to go. Slide by, but again, they go out of bounds.
Well, Butler got a little bit lazy there at the edge of the mat. I don't think he wants to let it be cut that close. He thought he was out of bounds a little deeper. There's a great job on an outside single. Comes right back.
Grau got nice hips there, Coach, to get those things off, because he was buried for a second. We're under 25 seconds to go.
It was a great opportunity that Butler had there, and Grau turned him away.
Yeah, now he's going to warn Green, because that time he basically just got to the edge and didn't try to do too much. We're at 14 seconds. Boy, he's chasing that single.
Boy, he's strong on that too.
Under 10. See if he can keep the toes in. Grau's almost in the splits. No, kept the whizzer in, it looked like.
Right. We're out of time, going to overtime.
We're on a roll tonight. 3 matches, 2 overtimes. This is good.
Well, I think Butler here now, he looks like he's showing some signs of fatigue, but he really wants to work to Grau's left leg. He wants that outside single, and Grau does a great job.
Beautiful
when he reaches,
double there.
He comes under when he reaches, and he gets the 2.
Beautiful shot off that. He just exploded into it. And like you said, another shot quickly, and he ended up getting it with 8 seconds into the match. So our state champ at 138 pounds, Hunter Grau from Geneseo, only a junior, and he was 3rd last year. He moves up to the top of the podium this year.
From Geneseo, Hunter Grau.
At this time, please direct your attention to the award again for the medal presentation.
The IHSA is competition, teamwork, integrity, determination, triumph. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
I'm standing here with Hunter Grau, the newly crowned 138-pound Class AA champ, and his coach, Jesse Montez. Hunter, last year you came up short. You were in 3rd place. You just knocked off the guy that's, was a finalist last year in overtime. What turned the trick for you today?
Mindset. You just got to stick with your pace the whole match, and you just got to control it the whole time, and you just got to give 100% every time.
Coach, what was your battle plan today going into the match?
I knew that Hunter just had to keep it close and win in the end like he did. And we knew Hunter was in good enough shape to win when it came down to it like that.
Hunter, Geneseo is a famous wrestling town in Illinois. Talk to me about what it's like to go back home with that Illinois State Champion bracket board. What's school going to be like on Monday?
Oh, hopefully it's not too emotional for me, but I just got to go back to school and do good in school, and I just got to compete and go back to practice and repeat.
Coach, Hunter's a junior. He can be right back here on this stage next year. What does he got to do to get back here?
Continue to do what he's done. He works year-round. He does extra things outside of practice. After practice, he's lifting weights. He's doing weight training circuits. So just continue to do that, and I think he'll be in the same spot next year.
Well, there you have it. I'm here with Hunter. Hunter obviously is emotional, as he should be. Got a little blood on the nose, but that's okay. Hunter, congratulations. You are an Illinois State champion.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Hunter 145 pounds. We've got Daniel Close, a senior from Ottawa. He was a 6th place finisher last year at 145, the same weight. And we've got another defending state champion. He was a 138-pound state champ last year. Vince Turk from Montini, also a senior, and Vince is also has not lost a match in the state of Illinois this year. His only losses are to national competition.
Ray Eichelscholder will be our head referee. Dan Foster's working with him. And Boo, again, we got to mention some unique things, I guess, that happens. Over Ottawa's got a boy in the state titles. Not a state powerhouse, but I know their coach Pete Marks, and they do a great job over there. He's got some quality kids year in and year out, and it's great to see one of their boys get a chance to wrestle in the state finals. But Turk's in on an early shot. Close trying to basically get a stalemate there. Turk's trying to run to his right to finish it off, and
he wants to
probably hook the leg. Yeah.
Right. And Close is doing a real good job. He wants to keep that chest tight and not allow any space there. He's got to keep that chest tight.
And he's smart enough to know Turk's trying to hook his leg, so he's bailing it out of there.
Right.
There's the two. And now he's got to bail out. Smart by Close. He was getting in trouble to give up the near fall. As soon as he heard the 2, he bailed out. And they'll go out of bounds.
Well, Turk will be going to University of Iowa next year. And if you watch him wrestle for any kind of prolonged period, you understand he really has what I call the traditional Iowa style. He is 6 minutes or more of in-your-face wrestling.
Hard-nosed, come at you, grind it out type of thing. Yeah, I didn't necessarily always like Iowa because my son wrestled at Iowa State, but I always respected them, the way they did things real hard.
Well, there's some battles there with both of those.
Oh, it was fun back in those days. After the escape, Turk in on another shot. Close trying to lock out. He should bail out and get out of bounds if he can constructively do it. Turk does a good job of bringing him back in.
It looks like he's going to finish there and get that too.
At the edge. Turk's just been too physical for him for the first minute and 45 seconds.
Close might have taken a shot there when Turk brought him down in that finish. He might have lost a little bit of wind.
The only reason I say that I agree with you is because he kind of gave up the takedown, bailed to his stomach instead of trying to fight it too much. So yeah, that could have been what happened. Now he needs to score last to get himself back in the match. We're under 15 seconds. Turk, great job riding the hips, staying tight, staying active with the hands. And the period ends 4-1. And Turk will take bottom, second period. Nice cradle off.
He's got a great job off there.
Really nice cradle. Wasn't able to turn him. But Turk came up maybe a little too methodical, kept the head down, and Close right away locked that up. Turk, better job of standing there, kept the head in. Now, nice mat return.
Well, Close obviously wants to stay on the mat with Turk. That looks like it's his game plan there. He's in there tight again. He's hip to hip.
Again, I have a chance to watch Close the last 3 years now in the sectional and down here. And he's just so well coached, does things so hard. And like you say, he's very good on the mat. We're 42 seconds into the second period. Boy, he's consistently looking at that cradle off the stand.
Right, right.
So comes up to his feet with hand control. Keeps scooting.
He is really intent. He really wanted to hold because now he knows I think Turk has an advantage on his feet.
Now we're under a minute. Now he made a nice shot there, but boy, Turk's got some hips, Coach. He put those on him real hard.
Close came in, he finished anyway. Great job by him.
We're 5-3 with 45 seconds left.
I'll tell you what, that even though he didn't get any points off of that cradle, that seemed to change a little bit of the momentum of the match here now.
Maybe gave him some confidence and stuff, because he looked maybe a little tentative in that first period.
Right. Turk looks like they're going to take an injury time here. I don't know if it's a cramp or...
And you mentioned for a couple kids, Boo, that they haven't lost in the state of Illinois. That goes back to some of our quality programs, do a lot of traveling.
Right.
Maybe while we have a second, tell our fans maybe some of the tournaments at some of these bigger schools, because I know there's a lot of them that travel around the various states.
Well, you know, a lot of these schools here, some of the 3A schools, I know Oak Park this year did a great job and went up to the Clash, which is a national dual tournament up in Minnesota. The Ironman, they were out there. And Montini, and as well as Oak Park, and I know Marmion over the years has represented. I know Dakota's been out to the Ironman too on a few occasions. And so when you wrestle those tournaments, those out-of-state tournaments, the Cheesehead being another one, I think that a lot of great national competition is at. You get a chance to see how you stack up against some of these other nationally ranked kids, and we do very well. The state of Illinois does a great job, and I think it's important for our kids, especially if they want to go on and wrestle at the next level.
There's a takedown at the edge. We'll see what happens
The
here.
referees are conferring on that.
Again, Turk had escaped to go up 6-3, then shot what I would call a blast double. And like you said, Boo, that's the old Iowa style. When you do things like that, you just say, hey, I'm tough.
And now they wave it off.
So they'll scratch that. We'll be on our feet with 14 seconds. Now for Turk there, how is that going to affect you mentally as far as things where they take away a big takedown that probably would have iced the match for you?
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, again, he keeps the pressure on, though.
Yeah, it didn't seem to affect him. He went back for another shot right away.
Right. Turk is limping noticeably. That leg injury, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was a cramp or not, but as he goes back to the middle, he's very heavy. He's kind of not pushing off and driving on that.
Yeah, I was going to say, he didn't really shoot through and do things that hard.
Well, that was something that close. Looking back, he's going to regret that.
Yeah, not a second period down 6-3.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the period, tried what I say is not a real smart throw and ended up giving up 2. Now he's down 8-3. And his big hope now is getting on top and being able to turn him, but he picks bottom.
Right, and Turk's pretty good on top too, so he's going to want to take as much time out of this as he can.
Well, because we talk about this all the time, that'll help him in college.
Absolutely.
My biggest complaint about our state is our kids don't do well at the college level sometimes because they don't wrestle on the mat enough. They spend a lot of them spend time on their feet,
right,
on a lot of takedowns, and they get to college. It's a totally different story. They're unprepared for some of the things that riding time.
Oh, he takes him to his back.
Reverses him to his back. He's down 8-4. This would make it 8-6, and he's going to have 3 near fall.
Now there was a stoppage there. It looked like he was going to fight off.
Turned it into an illegal headlock.
He must have slipped an arm.
Because it's going to be 2 reversal, only 2 near fall, and then 1 for an illegal hold. So he didn't get to hold it there long enough. So now Turk will be ahead 9-8.
Now there is a reversal, so he should be down. Turk should be down here. Position should be down.
Again, that's always tough break for a kid. He did all that work, got into his back, and made a mistake and turned it into an illegal headlock. So instead of getting
he's in that
2 and
cradle
3,
position again.
He just can't get it locked up tight enough.
And he wants that, though.
You got to stay on him the whole rest of the time since that's your best spot, or sometime you got to cut him and try for the tie.
I'll tell you what, there's 2 things right now that I'm thinking as a coach. Number 1, Turk is noticeably limping, and he looks to be fatigued. So I'm looking to get a stalling call on the top here. And he's locked up that cradle twice, and if he does it one more, chances are he's going to be a state champion. So I would stick with that for as long as he can. Turk doesn't look like he's got a lot of gas underneath there.
He's basically going to, I think he'll look. If they warn him for stalling, that's fine. Then he'll start doing something. Now he's up. Now Close is the one that's got him at return. Here, I just cut him, Coach. Yeah.
I think now he's got to do that. It's close on the edge.
Again, the scores table's kind of in our way, so we couldn't see, but we're 10-8, 34 seconds left. And Close is really pushing the action here.
He's done a great job.
Turk must really be hurting because he's been shooting those blast, aggressive shots, and now he's not doing a whole lot to
that, and I think Close has done a great job of wearing him down.
Now,
you know,
just as we say that, he shoots a pretty glass double, gets the 2, and going to ice the match. That's why I'm up here instead of down there.
Well, but you could see the body language was. He definitely was in a different place. Injured, fatigued, whatever. He's not at 100%, and he had to fight through that to win his state championship this year.
Again, 2-time state champ, if I'm correct now.
Yep.
It's Turk from Montini High School, a senior. Great match. Daniel Close did a tremendous job, took it down to the last 15 seconds. Like we said, he had a chance to win it. That's all you can ask when you're in a state champion.
Right.
At 138 pounds.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
Well, we've got last year's third-place finisher at 152 pounds from Mount Vernon. He's undefeated this year at 47-0, Chase Vosberg. And his opponent is Luke Fortuna, who finished second at 152 last year from Montini. And again, this shapes up to be a great match.
Yeah, and again, Vosberg, we just talked about with the boy from Ottawa. We get a chance to see Mount Vernon and some duels there from the very southern part of the state. And the Vosberg family's been very good down there for them. Chase gets into the finals here, and I know Boyd Ballard, their coach, does just a tremendous job. They're just not the high publicity type of school down there, if that's the correct words for us. So it's great to see them with a chance here in the finals. But again, Fortuna with the front headlock on him. Vosberg's underneath. Vosberg's got a nice carrier tip off this. We've seen him use quite a bit. He's looking for it. And Fortuna's doing a nice job of countering, keeping that elbow in.
Now, Fortuna is usually a very physical wrestler. He's wrestled a lot of matches up at 160 this year.
Got a chance to watch him last year in the state tournament. Very enjoyable the way he does things. Like you say, he does things so hard.
And he'll be attending University of Missouri next year.
Well, that's another school that's on the upcoming as far as the NCAA parts.
Right.
Again, a lot of tying up here, still moving, trying to stay active with it. Looks like 2 real physical type of kids here. Fortuna got the front head, or has the front headlock on again. Looks like he's ready to.
Yeah, Vosberg looks like he's underneath there. Look, there goes that tip you were talking about. He tried to go across, and
they go out of bounds. Chris Camps, our head referee here. Tom Futris is working with him.
30 seconds left in the first period again. Working inside position, both guys trying to work inside controls.
We're under 15 seconds. Oh, nice shot. Just pretty. Fortuna gets the lead here. Big points to score under 10 seconds. Looks like he's going to ride him out.
Well, that was nice scoring at the end of the period, and did a great job lowering his level. He attacked up on his shoulders and did a great job with that, lowering his level into that double.
And like you talked about, he just did it so hard. So he takes the bottom right away stance, gets the early escape. He'll lead 3-0. talked about a couple kids looking at wrestling in college as far as some of the high quality or caliber schools. We know there aren't many scholarships out there for wrestling as far as, I think there's 9.9 that schools can use. Fortuna again with the front headlock on him. Vosberg doing a nice job of facing him and bails out. What do schools, colleges look for in a wrestler besides obviously some talent?
Well, wrestling recruiting is very different than some of the other sports at the collegiate level because, you know, wrestling coaches want to see a little bit more of a relationship, a personal relationship with the wrestlers. I think they look a little deeper into the character. You know, as a football coach, I know that obviously football coaches, you know, they care about those things, don't get me wrong, but when you have 85 scholarships a year to offer, quite frankly, you can afford to miss on a few of them. And with wrestling, when you have 9.9 scholarships, you got 10 starters, you can't even put all of your starters on scholarship. Quite frankly, you got to make sure that you don't miss. And if you do miss, then you're going to pay for it for a couple of years in terms of trying to overcome that hole in your program. So they dig a little deeper, you know, looking at the character, grades, you know, those kind of things. And I think that they really want to see that work ethic, Kevin. You know, they're willing to sacrifice. Absolutely.
College level, exactly.
Absolutely.
So we're still 3-0, 35 seconds left, and Fortuna's done a nice job of controlling the match so far. But again, Vosberg's right in it, and he just needs to maybe get something here in the last 25 seconds, but he'll still be on the bottom in the third period, so when he gets his one, he'd be right in it.
Right.
Again, he's working real hard. He's more than willing to, use the words, fall underneath you and control that elbow and look for his carry or tip. And Fortuna's done a great job of countering it so far.
Fortuna's trying to keep the pressure on. He's trying to stay aggressive. He wants to control that elbow. And we go to the end of the second period here. 3-0 still Fortuna.
Vosberg right away takes bottom. Nice job of stepping sides by Fortuna. Vosberg still trying to power stand to get out of there. Now he's on his feet, needs to stay up and stay in bounds. Nice job of cutting it, but let's see if he faced him or not. Nope, didn't face him in time. So he's still on the bottom, 3-0, third period. Fortuna's just going to cut him here. Feels very confident on his feet, apparently.
He wants to keep the pressure on. Vosberg knows he doesn't want to panic. He's still obviously very much in this match, so he's looking for that one opportunity.
Fortuna's doing a nice job of staying out of that carry off of him.
Well, one thing that he's doing, he's being physical in that front headlock position. He's moving him, he's putting his head up and down, bringing his head to the mat. He's not letting him stay comfortable in there. So he's using a good defense to actually start to jumpstart his offense. Oh, Vosberg went on a cross shot there.
We're at 1 minute left in the match, 3-1, Luke Fortuna from Montini with the lead. I'll say one thing, Vosberg's aggressive on his feet. He's not afraid to get in there and fight, even though Fortuna's got those big, strong hips and doing a good job of keeping them on him. Fortuna doing a nice job with that front headlock, keeping him moving, looking to score. 34 seconds left, still a lot of time.
Vosberg wants to get him to open up a little bit.
Nice job of hand fighting by both of them.
Under 10. Nice reshot there.
And he gets the takedown at the buzzer. great way to finish it. 3-1 lead. Don't sit there and wait for him to come at you. You go at him aggressively. Finish off with a 5-1 lead. Our state champ this year, Luke Fortuna, senior from Montini. A great match.
Congratulations on a great season. Luke's a real hard-working kid, really deserves that success. He had a very tough finals match down here last year, and he kind of got the monkey off his back today. So congratulations to Luke on a great season.
The IHSA is leadership, intensity, dreams, artistry, passion. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
Returning state champion. He won it at 160 last year, and his opponent is Cordell Norfleet from Marion Catholic, and he's a sophomore. So interesting thing here, Kevin. I know that back when both of these kids were younger, I think they were both Harvey Twisters, so they might have some familiarity with themselves from that Twisters practice room.
Yeah, the Twisters, for those that don't know, is a high-quality IKWF program. We'll talk a little bit maybe about our IKWF, our kids' grade school, in a few minutes. But right away, Norfleet's in on a shot. Manyweather's got such great balance.
Well, Manyweather is really a type of guy that forces you to make mistakes.
And Boo, as a football coach, you'll appreciate this. He's one of the top football players in the area. Washington's got a quality football program, and he plays running back and linebacker for him, and he's top-notch there also.
Well, I can see that.
No points off that. We're 40 seconds into the match. Tends to be very conservative when he wrestles, but when he does something, he does it hard, and that's exactly what happened there. Norfleet came in with maybe a sloppy shot, and boy, did he hit him with the throw off of it.
And he gets the fall.
55 seconds into the match. Randy Manyweather from Washington defends his state championship.
Well, he came out, and again, he kind of forced a mistake. Norfleet got his elbows a little wide there on that shot. And he did a great job. Manyweather just rotated over and pancaked him right to his back.
Yep, so that'll be a two-time state champion. He gets to come back next year and maybe earn that third title for himself.
The IHSA is leadership, intensity, dreams, artistry, passion. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
I'm here with Randy Manyweather, Washington two-time state champ. Randy just captured the 160-pound AA state title. You didn't waste a lot of time out there tonight.
I mean, no, man. My coach Medlin preached I got to stay low and attack, approach him low. I mean, he has a nice quick shot, so I had to stay low and having to catch him when he shot it on that double.
Now, you know a little bit about your opponent. You guys wrestle for the same kids club, the Harvey Twister, so you guys have grappled together before. What about his style did you try to shut down to make sure there were no problems?
He's very quick, so I mean I had to just force my power on him. I had to move closer and just gain ground on him and tie him up a little bit.
43-4, the pride of Central Illinois, and you're a junior.
Yes, sir.
What's in the future for you next year?
Definitely going after another state title. I'd like to give all my honor and praise to the Lord, my Savior.
There you have it. That's Randy Manyweather, Washington High School's finest, a two-time Illinois state champion with one to go, right?
Yes, sir.
From Troy Triad, we have Cole Witzig. He's a junior. He was third at 160 pounds last year. And from Washington, Jake Warner. Jake was second at 160 last year. And I know that Jake's a sophomore. They had an earlier meeting this year where Witzig was a 5-1 winner.
This will be interesting to see how this one pans out.
His opponent, a freshman from
So here we go, 170. Again, the second Washington wrestler in a row we've got in the finals.
With all 160-pound place winners, please report to the awards area. All 160-pound place winners, please report to the awards area.
Warner's being real active as far as moving around. 2 shots to the right, left leg, will come back with 1 to the right. Witzig on a reshot. Boy, Warner put his hips on him so solidly there.
Yeah, really did a good job there. Now he wants to just get there and use hip pressure here.
Look at the way he's using that left hip.
Sure. He needs to elevate that at the elbow there. Now he's got in there, hooked that leg, and he should have his 2. There it is.
Here's where you don't want to be underneath Warner, Coach. He runs this tip series so pretty, like we were talking about earlier. But again, Witzig's wrestled him before, as you said. He's well scouted on it. We'll just see if he can keep the tips off. Nice job of coming to his feet. And the Witzig family is a unique family. Got to know the dad, Russ, is head coach here, and getting a chance to coach his son in a state tournament's got to be quite a thrill for both of them.
Well, you see a number of those situations over the years down here, and it sure, I'm sure, is a great memory and makes it all the more special for that family. I'm sure they enjoy a little more after the weekend's done and all the pressure's over.
Sometimes it's tough coaching your son. But looking back at it, I'm sure most fathers would tell you it's a great thing. You want to do it over and over again if possible. So again, 2-0, 44 seconds left. First period. Witzig's doing a nice job of keeping that tip off and not letting him get that wrist in tight where he wants to.
He does have it buried.
Our head referees, Tom Futris, Tony Clark's working with him. And we mentioned Russ Witzig, coach at Triad. Haven't had a chance to mention Brian Medlin, the coach at Washington, who's really got that program on the up and up. They're doing very well. Puts in a half. Nice job of staying active. And Witzig's doing a tremendous job of keeping him in the tip series.
Well, he's done a very good job with this first period, making sure he limits the opportunity for Witzig. Warner wanted to end this period with no points, and it looks like he did it.
Yep, 2-0, go to the second period. Washington wins the toss. They'll defer. Witzig's going to go underneath.
He changes over real nice there on top.
I like that breakdown. Started on the right, jumped back to the left, maybe in an effort to get his tip series set up a little bit better for him. He's just so tough on top. Coach keeps that left hip and left knee in there. Now they warn him for stalling. They want him to step off to the side a little bit more.
That's a little bit of a surprising call there. It looked like he was pretty active right there, and maybe the referee, Tom, didn't like his angle.
This time he covers from the right and stays on the right, on his feet, and they go out of bounds. We're 1:27 left, second period, 2-0 in favor of Jake Warner from Washington. And there's the escape. Witzig trails 2-1.
Reminder, all 160-pound place winners should be in the awards area. All 160-pound place winners should be in the awards area.
Warner shot. He's got the left leg trapped, tries to come far ankle, gets
Nice
it
job.
in, gets his 2.
Well, Witzig looked like he tried some type of a slide by and didn't really commit to it. He gave up an angle to Warner. Warner dropped down and he reached across and finished.
Yeah, you use the word angle there. A lot of people don't understand that. They think more just drive. But explain to us a little bit about what that angle means.
Well, the angle, you know, those are the ways that obviously, you know, you're trying not to meet a man's force head on. And so working angles, you know, that's a big thing. A lot of times you'll hear coaches, especially late in match when kids are fatigued, you know, they're reluctant to move their feet and create those angles. And that's really what, you know, leads to those scoring opportunities, getting the man, you know, attacking a part of his body or an angle on his body where he's not able to defend at 100%.
In other words, instead of him having full force on you when you do things, you cut the force down. So
absolutely.
Warner trying to keep the toes in. We can't really see because the score table's in our way, but he's trying to pull him back in to get the takedown.
This is big for
under
Witzig
10
here.
seconds. Yeah, Witzig's just got to not give up the 2 at the end of the period. Warner doing a nice job of trying to pull it in. Now he had to step out of bounds. Had to step out of bounds to score. Where period ends 4-2 in favor of Warner. Warner looks like his knee might be a little sore here.
Well, that was big for Witzig because if he gave up that score in the edge of the match, obviously it changes the complexion of the match going into the third period. Now he's still a score away, scoring opportunity away. And obviously, given, you know, losing that match earlier, he wants to create that doubt for as long as he can for Warner. Warner wants to put him away and maybe starts thinking, hey, this has got to start happening now. Why am I not getting this opportunity? So it becomes a mind game at this point, too.
Now you're Witzig, you're 2 behind, and you're going to be on top here. What's your strategy? You going to stay on him and try and turn him, or get on your feet and you got to take him down a couple times?
Well, you know, you don't want to create an opportunity. A lot of if you can, you know, create something big off of a breakdown here, or you feel comfortable with that, you're going to go ahead and do it. If not, you know, if he's, you know, you're going to feel that out. You don't want to give up points here. You don't want to do something silly like the locked hands. And see right there, he just decides he's going to cut him, and he's going to get after him on his feet.
5-2, minute 51, third period.
Nice job on the head there.
Yeah, he worked the head really well. 7-2 lead, seems to be in control right now.
Now Warner had real heavy hands there and really worked that head, and he got Witzig out of position there, and he converted for the score.
As we see more and more of these Washington kids in the next few weight classes, you'll see that a lot out of them. They do a nice job of controlling the ties and, as you said, working the head in order to create scoring opportunities for them.
Well, that's a big skill. You know, Kevin, you mentioned that earlier, as we see Warner doing a great job breaking them down. Now Witzig comes up, but you know, those hands, that's what you see when you watch these college matches, especially obviously at the Division I level. You see those guys, they all have, you know, I call them sledgehammer hands, and they work and they work and they work, and nothing is easy. And you know, they take their toll. It works in a fatiguing type of way too against your opponent, on his head, on his upper body, on his arms, and it really takes its toll. And those are the kids, I think, that kind of, they really have an advantage. You know, two guys that I remember, you know, back when I was coaching, those kids, the Dardanes brothers, you know, wrestling up in Minnesota. Now those guys were notorious for hand control and just pounding on their opponents.
People don't realize how, when somebody's beating on your head consistently during a match, how that does wear you out.
Absolutely.
Warner still leads 7-2. We're inside 40 seconds in the third period. And he just does a nice job of staying on those hips tight. So again, Witzig's got to look for a 5-pointer here. Either get to his feet, escape, and look for a type of throw, or maybe some type of roll. Something to catch him one time to get the match here. 33 seconds to do it. They're going to add some time to it because of the false start. Warner again, started on his left and stepped over to that other side of the right to try and ride it.
You know, that takedown that we referred to, you know, at the beginning of the period, that was a break point in the match. He really, I think, because it was a physical takedown and he really got him out of position, I think that took a lot out of Witzig at that time.
He needs one last good breakdown to pretty much ice this away. 15 seconds left. Comes to the ankle, pulls the leg in out. Nice mat return. So it looks like our state champion here at 170 pounds after a second place finish last year will be only a sophomore, Jake Warner from Washington High School. He beats Cole Witzig from Triad High School, only a junior, so maybe, Coach, we'll get a chance to see these two again next year.
Could be.
The IHSA is leadership, intensity, dreams, artistry, passion. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
Well, we've got Javier Soto, who's a senior from Bremen, and Xavier Montalvo, who is a two-time state champion, going for his third here tonight from Montini. And Xavier will happily, we can say, be continuing his wrestling career here at the University of Illinois next year. So,
well, that's
great
great.
things ahead for him.
We talk about consistently college wrestling, and we all want Neil Levi to do well. And I tend to follow it a lot more when they have kids from the state wrestling for them. And it'd be a great pickup for them, and hopefully a great thing for him. Come down here and get a solid education.
Right.
And I just like the way for a 182-pounder he moves around and does things so hard. And Soto's had a good tournament. He seated there, came in. He's ranked third according to our GEI mat rankings, and Montalvo went on an early takedown, leads 2-0.
Got that split leg Turk position. He's going to work underneath there and try to drive. Keep that knee in tight is what he wants to do here. He wants to keep that knee tight and drive that up through the shoulder. And keep working that Turk. Now he comes off, he'll go right back to his feet.
2-1, 120 left out. The clock kept running for a second or two. Again, nice job by the assistant referee. He caught it just like I did, and he's telling him that he just counted off, and now they'll start the clock. And Montalvo, boy, he just drives right through that, Coach. Not a pretty shot, but he got there, bailed out.
Very active kid. He transitions
like
there
the way he
underneath.
does stuff
Yeah.
like that. 4-1 lead. He seems fairly confident on his feet. He gives up the escape. Drives through it. 6-2 lead now.
Again, he's very, very active in all positions, can really wrestle a complete match.
6-3. In the middle of this match, let's take a look at a couple things coming up here. I know you're real involved, Coach, with the IWCOA, some of the different things they do and they have coming up here. And as Montalvo gets another takedown in the middle of March, an all-star duel. Maybe give us some background about things, how that team's selected. I know it's over in Fort Wayne, Indiana this year, March 15th to Sunday.
Right, we've got the Illinois-Indiana Classic duel, and every year the seniors from both of those states, we field two teams and have a great all-star duel day. This year it's the 15th, and as you mentioned, it's set for Fort Wayne, Indiana. And it's a great way to really give our seniors a last opportunity to kind of represent Team Illinois. And so I know that over the years there's a lot of other all-star opportunities and meets that have cropped up, but the IWCOA has been active in sponsoring that duel for, over 20 years now, and we're very proud of it. And every year the kids that represent us do a great job. So look to support that. I know that in the past, Illinois Matman has done a lot to promote that and even broadcast it on the day at various locations. So again, we really want to mention that, and hopefully our kids understand what an honor it is to represent our state and get an opportunity to mix the teams and mix kids from 3A, 2A, and 1A and try to get the kind of a representation across the board.
Montalvo with another takedown, leads 10-4.
There he is in that Turk position.
Locked up in his Turk again. Yeah, and like you mentioned, through Illinois Matman, I've had the privilege to go over there and broadcast a couple of those. He is getting a near fall off that. And I just like the competitiveness in it. Obviously, these kids throughout both states, they want to win that. And it's really enjoyable to watch them. And as you say, one last time in their high school career to come out, hang around with the kids they've grown up with, and so on. So, yeah, hopefully, how do you go about selecting the team as far as things go? I know you take over 2 teams and don't divide them up because you want to win both duels, obviously.
Right. Well, that's what we do. We try to give equal representation on both teams, and actually, what we do is our committee gets together and we select the team based on the results, largely based off the results of this weekend here. And obviously, seniors are the ones that we're selecting. And we want to really, again, try to give a good representation. We really want to get all of our state champions an opportunity to, display their talents and get them on the mat. But, we obviously have a lot of other great seniors that are place winners that, really have had great opportunities over the years.
Yeah, as a neutral observer, I'd say, hey, if you get invited to be on this team, take advantage of it. Great time, nice atmosphere. I have to go to Indiana this year, but last year I know we were up in the suburbs and did when we broadcast, and we just had a great time. So again, March 15th, a Sunday, 1 o'clock, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Come to the Illinois Matman website, and you'll be able to get more information as it becomes available to you. Montalvo will go to the 3rd period, and he's just putting on a dominating performance, Coach. 15-5, and he'll take neutral here to start the period. And again, that's the great thing about wrestling. So far, Soto's not done real well, but he's only 3 seconds away from a win. Hit him with a throw or some type of turn, put him on his back, and get himself a state championship.
Well, Javier Soto has obviously had a great tournament, and that's a lesson you learn in wrestling. There's always somebody out there that is waiting there to beat you that's better than you, and there's no shame in that. He's doing a good job out here competing, and I'm sure his school and his school community is going to be proud of him. He's doing an excellent job out here representing.
Yeah, Jason Sally's our head referee, and Kenny Watkins is working with him, and it's 17-6. He cuts him. And why we were talking a little bit earlier, and we said we'd get this back with this, and a referee, it's a tough job. What do you, from your experience, look for in what makes a good referee? A takedown to his back. This will be a tech when he gets him, if it comes through. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I think, to me, what I always liked, the guys that I liked and the guys that I always had great relationships were the guys that seemed to be a little grounded, and they understood that and here we have a technical foul situation.
Yeah. We'll get back to that in a second. Let's give our props to a great career for Xavier Montalvo, 3-time state champion. And again, gets a chance. He's going to represent us down at the University of Illinois next year, and hopefully he has just a great college career for himself.
The IHSA is leadership, intensity, dreams, artistry, passion. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
I'm standing here with the newly crowned 182-pound Class AA state champ, Xavier Montalvo. Wow, You threw some numbers up there today. Those are football numbers.
Yep.
What was your plan going into the match?
Just dominate. Just dominate everything.
Well, that was a domination. Had you faced him before?
No, I've never faced him before.
Now going in, you obviously your goal is to win a state title. Talk to me about how your national schedule really helps you in this situation.
It helps you get ready for college a lot. So, there's a lot of up and downs, more downs than up, and just get me ready for the college room next year.
Well, all I want to tell you is you are the state champion. Congratulations. And great job.
Thank you.
Well, this is for sure one of the featured, if not the featured match in 2A. Austin Marsden, a defending champion from Crystal Lake Central, 47-0. Eric Schultz from Tinley Park, he's a junior. He was second at 170 pounds last year, so obviously he's hit a growth spurt. And Marsden is a defending champion at 195. So I know a lot of people have been talking about this match for a few months now, so it's finally here.
Yeah, it's not often we get two undefeated kids because these schools all wrestle such high-level schedules. The two undefeated kids in the state championship, and you're right, Schultz, he's tall now. He's really gotten big since last year.
Well, he's filled out a lot. He obviously made a real good friend with a squat rack somewhere and with some weights, because he's done a great job. He's really built his body up from last year.
Yeah, it's amazing what those weights will do for you if you do more than just look at them. They'll actually make you really strong, right? But yeah, we're inside, just started the first period. Marsden's got the double hooks locked up.
Marsden's very, very explosive, and last year he had a, really came on the scene. I think he had a loss in the sectional last year, and then he came back and avenged that loss with a electrifying pin in the state final, and since then he's never looked back.
And I enjoy Justin Lear does a great job of coaching that program over there. And Marsden's older brother, Austin's having a great career down at Oklahoma State. He moved up and wrestles heavyweight for them.
And Marsden just created a stalling call in his favor, and Schultz goes right underneath and counters that stalling call.
Just from watching him here for the first minute, it looks like Marsden likes to tie up and stay on the upper body, and Schultz, watched him some yesterday in the earlier rounds. He likes to go low and move around and maybe use his quickness a little bit more. So we'll see whose style wins out. We're at 48 seconds left first period.
And again, Marsden's a senior and Schultz is only a junior.
Shane Morgan's our head referee, and Mike Kirkus is working with him as the assistant. He's got those hooks locked up again.
Boy, Schultz really wants to attack that left leg.
Yeah, that time Marsden tried to hook him, and he moved underneath it before he could get it in. And you're right, he got in there on the left leg, giving him a chance to score with it. Keeping the toes in. Now he had to step out. 9 seconds in the period. Looks like when Marsden forces and gets that hook on, he's in control. When Schultz can keep it off, he does a much better job. Marsden goes underneath there to start the second period. We talked about earlier, now in case they go to the sudden victory, assuming he does score, which he's going to because Schultz cuts him, he would have choice in that last part. Oh, nice shot, had to bail out.
We didn't quite get, we talked about before, he didn't quite get a good enough angle on that shot there.
So he bailed out real quick, and I see what you were talking about there. He was more facing him and couldn't get him on his hip.
That's a better angle there, and now he got to that leg. Marsden does a good job with his hips, though. He wants to put that leg on that.
Oh, I don't know about that one. Marsden tried to throw him through. Schultz balanced his hips and gets the takedown. Now he's going to cut him and leads 2-1.
Marsden doesn't, hold anything back. He has that kind of style. He's kind of wide open like that. And
you mentioned that coming in.
Right.
Yes.
Should be in the awards area. All 182-pound place members should be in the
So we're 2-2 with 1:06 left, second period. He's just stalking him now. He comes and ties up and just...
Again, he's got that angle on that leg.
Tries to keep the toes in. And they go out of bounds. Marsden keeps forcing those hooks. Schultz in on another shot.
There it is again.
Marsden gets his hips on him, got that front quarter lock. Right. Not going to be able to score though. Toes goes out of bounds. Nice call. Shane Morgan was right there, saw the toe went out. Here's where Schultz needs to be careful. Marsden's charging at him a lot. He doesn't want to back out and get that stall against him, but he's done a nice job of bailing to a shot off of it. And toes go out. We stay neutral.
Well, Schultz he's got to drop his level there, and it looks like Marsden's keeping the pressure on him. Schultz looks like he's kind of laboring in his breathing here. He wants to get on that outside leg, and instead of trying to square up to him, he's got to keep on that angle. He's got to get to the back of him, and he's got to finish that thing on the mat.
In other words, he shoots to the left leg. He wants to pivot to his right and keep running. It's okay.
He's got to keep that angle. He's got to stay there. He's got his good length there, and he's got the ability. He can reach across.
2-2. And he's going to choose neutral. I was going to ask, think he's going to want to go underneath. That's kind of how tough Marsden's been on top.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit surprising to me. I would have seen that you wanted to take that point and put that on there, but he feels he's going to win or lose it on his feet here.
Well, we always assume you're going to get your point, but against somebody as tough as Marsden is on top, maybe you're not going to get it. And I think it's keeping him in more of a comfortable position where he seems to be very comfortable on his feet.
Right.
And they go out of bounds. We're still 2-2 with 1:39 left. Remember, Schultz has been warned for stalling, which can come into play here.
Well, you can see him. He's getting back to the circle slower. Marsden's kind of wearing him down here. And if Schultz, he's looking for that one shot. He wants to get, he's got to redirect. He wants to hit on that single leg shot. And when he hits that, he's got to keep the angle, and he's got to run around back behind. He keeps wanting to square up and stay in front of him, and Marsden knows how to defend that.
He's got those hooks locked. See if he's going to try and do something with them.
Yep.
He's got the stall call.
Got the stall call.
So Marsden leads 3-2. Boy, he just really comes after you with those hooks.
Right.
A little over a minute left.
That's what he needs to do in the middle of the mat.
When Schultz counters, like you've been saying, he does a really nice job. He can't let Marsden push him to the edge and try and work from there. We're at 57 seconds, 3-2. Again, two contrasting styles, and so far Marsden's upper body ties have worked better for him. That and having the confidence to take the bottom and getting his escape point. And you called it early, Coach, when you said you were surprised Schultz didn't take the bottom. As of right now, that's not looking like a good call, but we still have 40 seconds left.
Marsden's doing a good job there, too. He's working the edge of the mat. Any kind of an offensive shot.
He's just going to bail out.
He knows, he knows where he's going with that, where Schultz is going with that shot, and he's able just to defend it on the edge.
Schultz still has some time.
Oh, he changed it up?
Yeah, he went to the opposite leg. Now had to drive the toes out. Came to the...
Well, that was what he needed to do. That was a nice change up on the shot there, kind of a high crotch shot.
He'll get one more good shot in 15 seconds, see if he can get there and take advantage of it.
Attacking more square. Now Marsden seems to be backing up. I'm surprised he hasn't been warned here.
He hasn't been warned yet, so he's just going to hang the edge. Now he doesn't really have time to set something up. He's just got to go after it and take a dive and see what he can. Not take a dive, as you would say, go after it and take an angle.
Right. There's the warning right there.
Yep. And in a battle of undefeateds, our state champion at 195 pounds, Andrew Marsden from Crystal Lake Central. In a great match, he beats Eric Schultz from Tinley Park.
Well, Schultz kept the pressure on until the end. He did a great job there. Just couldn't convert on a couple of those shots, but he was impressive.
The IHSA is leadership, intensity, dreams, artistry, passion. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
I'm here with Andrew Marsden, just completed an undefeated season. Crystal Lake Central, Crystal Lake Central state champ, 195 pounds, class AA, and now you're going to take a bracket board home to put next to your brother's bracket board. What's that like?
Oh, it's great, you know, like just extending that legacy with my brother, and I'm going to the same school as him. That I know it's like following in his footsteps, but it's still a great feeling.
Yeah, and we're talking about your brother Austin, who was also a state champ here. You know, now you're going to matriculate to Oklahoma State. You're a Cowboy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And arguably one of the greatest wrestling programs in the history of wrestling. Just talk about completing the process and just getting to that point where you win your last match and you move on to college.
You know, just last year I won, you know, so I knew the second one's going to be as hard. Last year I pinned my way through. Finals was a 3-2 match. It's just a great ride, you know, so I'm happy to accomplish it.
Well, you've done a great job here in your high school career, and regardless of your brother's career, you've got your own bracket boards to look at every now and then, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, State of Illinois, there you have it. This is Andrew Marsden, soon to be an Oklahoma State Cowboy, Crystal Lake Central's finest, state champ.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent job.
Thank you, sir.
Well, at 220 pounds from Crystal Lake Central, a junior, Romeo McKnight, and he finished 6th last year. And his opponent from Washington, Jake Gadones, and he's a senior, and Gadones won this match earlier in the season, 10-6. So we've got another rematch here in the finals, Kevin.
Yeah, and I got a chance to watch McKnight last night in the semis. He had a real nice head on some hooks and went belly to belly and just threw him to win the match. And Godinez he's more of a methodical type of wrestler, stays in real nice position and has a lot of Greco knowledge and experience. In fact, I know both these kids do. So it'll be interesting to see whose style comes in here. Both of them wearing the black singlets. Godinez would be the shorter of the two. And he's red on your scoreboard. And Mike Kirkus is our head referee with Chris Camp working with him as his assistant.
Another Crystal Lake Central boy. A lot of times you see that so many times, back-to-back wrestlers, because they wrestle each other in practice. One guy gets the other guy sharpened up and gets him better. You see that a lot.
Well, that's the way it should be. In other words, you're forced to work hard because you're out there against somebody with some quality. And that obviously helps out your wrestling room quite a bit. Because I know they had it a few years ago with Gage Hare and the older Marsden.
Right,
those two were about the same size. And Godinez trying to keep the toes in, and they go out of bounds. I don't think Godinez wants to get in those type of situations real often with McKnight.
Knight tries to go down low there.
Godinez moving him, he's got the leg, and they're going to go out of bounds.
Both guys have come out pretty active here.
That's enjoyable. Usually, a lot of times at this bigger weight classes, we don't see a whole lot of action, but they've been moving and trying to do quite a bit. We're 1 minute and 7 seconds into the match.
It's obvious these are two pretty athletic-looking guys.
Well, that's the one thing we noticed. We talked about with Montalvo at 182 and then at 195. And these two kids, there's some athletes up here doing some things instead of just the, I'll call them plotters, where they come and hold out.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The activity level and the skill level in these upper weights, you know, since the state has gone to that 220-pound weight class, you know, when the 215-pound weight class, when it first came out, you know, it was for 3 or 4 years, there was some slim pickings there for a while. It really wasn't something that a lot of the kids and coaches had planned for or grown into, and once kids started realizing that and, you know, thinking about a 4-year plan and a track to get onto that weight class, it really blossomed up. And, you know, obviously now you see some really competitive wrestling.
Yeah, we're 0-0 in the period. And we were talking about that. Oh, now Godinez defers, which 0-0 might surprise you.
Yeah.
And now he's going to cut him and bring him to his feet. So he's going to try. He's going to automatically give up that first point.
Right. And that's one of those things, you know, that's a coach's prerogative to think that way, and you just, you know, whether you want to do that with your kid or not. But let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt
I'm sure
him.
they've got a game plan.
Right.
There was a reason behind. And you talked about the 4-year plan with the weight class. We just mentioned that earlier with Class AA. Right early on, the level wasn't quite as competitive. Now that it's been around for a while, the AA schools are adjusting, and there's some great competition.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes that's what, you know, things are cyclical and they take time, and, you know, as you look at that, you have to look at the body of work, obviously, over a number of years.
Godinez with a slide by wasn't effective for him. McKnight's trying to force that tie, and he's just bailed Godinez out of bounds. And a lot of hand fighting here. And that's where the Greco background helps so much, Coach. You learn how to stay in great position and still hand fight and look for things to set Godinez has in the Russian or the 2-on-1.
He's working on that Russian, and McKnight does a great job of keeping head position. He doesn't allow Godinez to have that head position, and that's why he made it very difficult to score there.
A little slide by now. He's got him. Godinez did a great job of bailing out of that, because that's the same deal we saw him throw last night. He got that hooked up and was more than happy to try and throw it.
.45 seconds left here in the second period.
Still a lot of hand fight, look for position. Oh, he launched him there.
Nice job. He stepped right through with his hips there.
Godinez shows a lot of courage to come off that, because Coach he was there. So it's going to be 2 takedown, 3 near fall. McKnight leads 6-0 with 19 seconds left in the period.
Just like that, he strikes like lightning, and that was a big-time move. Hipped into him there and really elevated. He got him to his back.
Be a big ride out for McKnight here if he can get it. We're inside 10. And the period will end 6-0 in favor of Romeo McKnight. Godinez doesn't want to go underneath. He's going to take neutrals. He's been more than content to be on his feet, because remember, he cut him at the start of the second period, and now chooses neutral in the third. So he's going to have to throw him to beat him, is the way it looks. And again, I like the way these two kids are hand fighting. They're looking to do some things. They're not just putting a hand in there, especially the way McKnight's been doing it. Boy, he hit that move over there on the side off a nice hand fight sequence.
Well, now he's in good position, because Godinez has to come after him.
Yeah, Godinez has to pin him to beat him.
Right.
Unless he can get a stall. They got the stall warning there.
Well, that's why I'm a little surprised he didn't start the period in the bottom. Try to get that point. Now the stall comes really a little bit more into play. But again, you know, sticking to his game plan. Smart job there by McKnight to shoot him off the mat.
Again, shows you're being aggressive and maybe gives the referee, gee, that guy's wrestling the edge against him for the potential stall. Boy, they're both trying to dig those hooks in off the hand fighting. You mentioned Crystal Lake Central having two bigger kids about the same size. We noticed Marsden liked to use that hook series too, and if McKnight works out with him consistently, he's going to understand the counters and how to deal with it also.
Oh, sure. There's no doubt.
We're at 30 seconds left in the match.
Justin Lair over at Crystal Lake Central has always had a good stable of big guys throughout his years there. They've always been well represented in the upper weights. It's been one of the secrets to that team's success.
220 pounds from Hicksdale South.
Venus trying to lock up the throw and gets two off of it. He'll trail 6-2. He's going to try and cut him and look for a snake and couldn't quite hit it. Again, right call. You're 6 seconds left. You're behind. Step to the front. He tried to throw it. Just didn't work for him. So it looks like our state champ Godinez is going to optional start him, see if he comes into some type of cradle. Now comes to the front head, and it's not going to work for him. State champion at 220 pounds, a junior from Crystal Lake Central, Romeo McKnight. And that gives them, Coach, back-to-back champions.
Yes, it does. Great job by McKnight. Congratulations to him and the Crystal Lake Central Tigers.
Central, Romeo McKnight.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Well, we've got Nick Czar from Highland High School. An interesting story with him, Kevin. He's 43-0 this year, and last year he wrestled 220, and obviously, as you know, Tanner Farmer graduated from Highland last year and defeated Michael Johnson from Montini here back as a senior. He is 19-0 this year, undefeated, and last year, as I said, lost to Tanner Farmer in that match. And so I think it's interesting that the same two schools are represented, and a brand new heavyweight kind of out of nowhere to get to the state final.
Story even a little deeper. Farmer was undefeated as a junior, undefeated as a senior. Now Czar's undefeated here, so they haven't had a heavyweight lose for 3 years. That'd be a nice problem to have as a coach. Johnson looks to be, when we've watched him, Coach, he can be really active when he wants to and do different things.
Well, Michael doesn't always wrestle like a heavyweight. He's got, you know, a lot of good technique, and he's very athletic. He actually is a great student. He'll be going to Yale to play football next fall, so congratulations to him on that. He's done an excellent job, but he's very athletic, and I know he played football at about 310 pounds. And obviously has to make a little bit of a cut here to get to 285.
I noticed he only has 19, 18 matches. Has he been hurt? Just didn't make weight in time?
Yeah, it was a combination of an injury that he sustained in football, finished the season, and needed some time to rest. And then obviously with the weight issue, you know, it took him a little longer to get that off because he wasn't able to start as early. And, you know, he worked very hard to get himself there. So he got back sometime after Christmas, and I know that he started the season nationally. He was the #1 heavyweight in the country, ranked nationally then. And I think that as the season wore on, There was speculation as to whether he was going to recover from that injury or not, so I don't know if his ranking had gone down, but I know that same thing with our rankings here in Illinois. He had started out ranked first, and then he had dropped in rankings because we weren't sure we were going to see him, right?
And again, I know the Montini, your football program, does great year in and year out. So do you have many other kids who are affected by this, that they don't get down to weight and do things early in the year?
Well, I think it's always an issue, and especially with some of the new rules. You know, back in the old days, I'm kind of dating myself here, but we used to be able to ease kids into that and wrestle them at higher weights and things like that. Obviously not a heavyweight, you couldn't, but you know, so it becomes an issue at times, and it's just one of the things you have to deal with high school. Now, Czar is going to go down. Michael is usually a very strong wrestler in the top position, so we'll see. He obviously has a little bit of a size advantage here. We'll see how this works out.
Czar gets to the switch right away, tries to come to his feet to keep the weight off him. Now he's up. Again, I've had the privilege of watching Michael wrestle through the IKWF. I know he was out of state for a couple years and then back the last couple here. I really enjoy the way he does things. Like you said, he doesn't like to wrestle as a heavyweight. He likes to move around and be active. Right. I always enjoy that with the bigger kids.
Well, Michael's had a very interesting career. He's been an Ironman champion. He's, like I said, been ranked first in the country nationally. Right now, he looks like he's getting in that chicken wing situation. He wants to keep Czar flat in the mat.
Czar needs to get out of bounds. Yeah,
he's doing a good job with that.
You're right. He had that arm bar tied up, and he had the hips on him, so he was going to get in trouble real quick. 1 minute 16 left. And so far, Czar's done a great job. He's right where he needs to be.
Well, I think Czar wants to, keep this match at bay here or close, even a scoreless match, as long as he can. I think he wants to have a chance to win this thing in the third period. Michael's got him flat here. He's done a real good job here. It could be a situation.
That's a lot of weight on you, too.
Near fall situation coming. He's getting close.
Big trouble here. Boy, look at those hips right there on that shoulder.
Oh, you got a one count.
Tremendous job by Czar to peel that off. That just takes a lot of courage, Coach.
Yes, it does. Johnson's still working that.
Yeah, still going to get the wrist now, so he can't bail out. We're under 40 seconds. So like you said, if Czar can just maintain here and level the storm for the last 30 seconds. Czar needs to crawl forward and get him out of bounds. .25 seconds left, 0-0, second period, state championship match at 285 pounds. Again, 2 undefeated coaches, or 2 undefeated wrestlers, Coach.
Right.
Hadn't noticed that till right now.
Sure.
So it's the second time it's happened for us.
And again, as you said, the heavyweight slot at Highland High School has been undefeated for 3 years now.
Wonder what they got going for him next year.
Right.
So, warning for stalling off the body. He's just doing everything he can to maintain here and get through this last 10 seconds.
Well, that's also big, too, because now no points have been scored. So Johnson has the opportunity to go down here and score first. We'll see if he does that.
Yeah, he right away. He didn't even look over. He told him he wants to be underneath. But we also mentioned Czar's limiting the time here. He's shortening the match where just one time he does something and he can get himself a state champion.
He's right where he wants to be right here. He's got a 2-minute match here.
Just doesn't want to get reversed in my mind. Maybe nothing else. Make sure you bail out and get him the one. Now he's got a mat return. He's got a mat return. He's going to get the stalling against him.
He's already been warned.
There it is. He gave him every chance. Should have cut him maybe 3 or 4 seconds early, because now he's down 2.
Now he's down 2-0. Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to accomplish in that situation. He really should have read that a little better. If it's a 1-0 match, it's a whole different story right now.
The takedown wins it for him.
And now he's going to need 2 takedowns, depending on the timing, because he's not going to be able to hold Johnson down for any prolonged period of time here.
And I really don't see him doing much unless Johnson makes a mistake. Johnson just staying in a perfect position. He's got those strong hips and thighs, and it's just going to be hard for Czar to score. 45 seconds left. Johnson, nice fake shot.
And he's staying active there. He doesn't want to let it create an opening.
And we talk about that's the big thing. Boy, if you can stay in a nice stance and hand fight, you're tough to score on if you're good at this sport. And that's when so many kids try and get it. If they can't get you out of position there.
There's a low single.
Nice shot. He's got the leg up in the air. He's got 15 seconds to return it. Johnson kicks out.
That's a great job by Czar, and I'll tell you, a great counter of athleticism there by Michael Johnson.
Boy, that was pretty. He took the attempt and got in there. And you're right, Johnson was just a little too good an athlete. Now he's getting flustered, but the match is going to end.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick Czar did a great job strategically. Yeah. He made Michael Johnson work for that state championship.
My hats off to him. He showed a lot of courage, gave himself a chance at the end to win it. It just didn't quite get done for him.
Congratulations to Michael Johnson. He adds a state championship to his illustrious wrestling career.
And Nick Czar, a lot of credit for making him go the whole 6 minutes and do things. Real enjoyable championship match for us at 285.
Absolutely.
From the gridiron to the hardwood, on the links or on the track, on the diamond or on the ice. Go to prepfilms.com. It's easy. You can order your DVD online. At prepfilms.com, you make the memories. We'll make them last forever.
Back to the little guys with 106. Another Washington-Montini matchup. Oh, go ahead, Coach.
Well, we've got Trey Keeley from Washington. He's a junior. And his opponent from Montini, Real Woods, he's a freshman. He's come on and had a great freshman year all the way to the state finals.
And Woods is ranked first in the state according to our GEI, Illinois Mapman rankings. And Keeley's ranked third. And I really like watching Woods wrestle. He's really active, got a lot of different techniques, and he scrambles very well for a freshman in high school.
Just did a nice job with that slide by.
Chasing the leg, tries to step over with his right leg. Keeley doing a nice job of countering.
Keeley's trying to elevate that leg. He's doing a real good job here with a counter. Wood steps in there to that Turk, though, right to his back.
And again, Keeley's had, to me, an impressive tournament. He's won matches 4-2, 2-1, and 1-0. So he's tough to score on and seems to come out ahead on those close ones. But right now he's down 2-0 early. Gets to the sit position. Woods is just so active on top. Very physical for a freshman.
Right.
Now he can't turn him, so he's just going to cut him and try and play more and more with him on his feet. We're at 20 seconds, 2-1 in favor of Real Woods from Montini here at 106 pounds. Remember, we started the night at 126, so we'll still have 2 more matches to follow this one.
Trey Keeley likes to come down on that knee. Woods does a good job throwing that by, and he gets him back up to his feet, and he's gone underneath twice. And try to convert the same score here, and he gets that takedown.
We see a lot of that, at least in our area, kids dropping to the knee. What can you do offensively off that and taking it to the next step defensively, or when somebody's on that knee, what do you try and teach your kids to do?
Well, I think Real, has executed it 2 or 3 times here already. I think one of the things you have to do is you have to move them. It's hard to rotate and move on your knees. There's a reason why we teach kids to be on their feet. They can move, they can pivot, they can face and create angles. When you're on your knee, it's very tough to do that. So attacking the upper body and getting him to move. He comes up off of that, creates an opening, and Woods has gone under there and converted on it 3 times in the first period.
Nice standing switch. He leads 8-1. All right, then why was Keeley, what's he trying to do when he drops to that knee? What's he looking for?
Well, I think one of the things it does do is it can destroy the timing and the rhythm, of the other wrestlers. So it makes them resort possibly, standard shots, aren't going to be functionable in that situation. They have to be set up off of a different way.
Again, nice performance so far by Woods. He'll lead 8-1. Still in the middle of the second period. And boy, he's just confident as can be on his feet. He's more than willing to be there. See if he gets him moving like Coach was talking about, taking angles against him. That was just kind of a bull shot there. He just said, I'm pretty tough.
It looks like Woods has a little bit of a size advantage here, too. Keeley looks to be a light.
Well, I know Keeley was a national champion, Greco, at one of the lighter weights, whatever it is, 95, 98, somewhere down there. So, yeah, he's probably not quite as physical.
Sure. Woods is driving up to that Turk, driving through the shoulder there. Wants to pull that leg in and secure that.
And we get 3 near fall, and we must have blood. Jim Carnahan's our head referee here. Nate Kessen's working with him. And going back while we have a second, Coach, earlier we were talking about what you look for to make a good referee. Maybe if you could continue on with that for a minute or so.
Well, I think, the number one thing that I look for is you want to see those guys be approachable, and the best referees that I've worked with have been guys that are kind of grounded, almost you want to say humble, and they know that the sport is not about them. If you think about a situation in your wrestling career when you look back, and if you've ever had something you wanted to call a bad call or anything like that, and they happen all the time because people are human, but when you see those things, I think oftentimes those are because sometimes they lose perspective and they want to be more of the focus, and they get a little too excited instead of staying in the background. And I like the guys who the match is over and you barely know they were there, because to me that's a great official.
Yeah, and again, judgment comes into play, but temperament, as you mentioned.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Wrestlers make mistakes, coaches make mistakes, and referees are going to make mistakes too. But understanding that they're hustling, they're in good position, they're working hard out there. You have all the respect in the world for them. Then.
And again, we talk about wrestling's an individual sport. Think about the referee. He's out there in that 40-foot circle too. Everybody in the place is watching him, and every time he makes a call, half the people are going to like it, the other half are going to think it's horrible. So he's in a tough situation.
Right. Nice job by Woods again. Same combination. Right to that Turk.
I like the way he splits the legs off that shot. Real impressive performance for a freshman. And he's working for the tech fall here.
He gets 3. Looks like he's got.
He got 3, and that'd be a tech fall. A winner at 106 pounds, a freshman from Montini. And again, possible 4-time state champ as far as things go, because that's just really impressive.
He's had a very impressive year. Congratulations, and I think that's Montini's 6th state champ, so I believe that's a new IHSA record also. So congratulations to that team, Coach Martinez. Great job here tonight in the finals.
You would think that'd make him a pretty solid dual meet team when you got 6 guys who win the state individual championship.
Well,
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Class AA, 106-pound state champ, and his head coach, Israel Martinez. Real, didn't look like you had a problem in that match. What was going on out there?
I expected what I expected. I went out there to dominate.
took him down, felt I could turn him, made it happen.
Now that guy's a cadet Greco national champion. Seemed like you stayed away from the upper body stuff. Was what that part of the plan?
No, I just went out there to win. Did my thing, did my style, didn't let him control anything.
Coach Martinez, you just keep doing it over and over and over again with these little guys. You keep producing champs. What's special about this kid? He's just a freshman.
Real Woods got straight A's in school. That's what's special about Real Woods. He's a hard worker on and off the mat. He's a great kid, and I'm proud of him, man. He's like my little brother.
Now, you got one bracket board. You know that the big thing in Illinois is to get 4. What's the plan to get bracket board number 2 next year?
Keep doing what I'm doing, working hard. Keep working hard every day in the room.
Here we are with the state champ, Real, spelled R-E-A-L, as in real. State champ from Montini, Real Woods, and his coach, Izzy Martinez. Congrats to the Broncos, and especially, son, congratulations to you. A very nice job out there. Coach Martinez, great job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all your guys' support. It's awesome to be back on TV. The real deal Woods.
Thank you.
Well, Jabari Moody is certainly one of the premier athletes here in the Class 2A tournament from Rich Central. He's a senior. He's 41-0. He's a defending state champion, and he has his opponent is a very formidable foe, Dak Punky from Washington, as a sophomore. He was 3rd last year at 106. So this should be a good match, and obviously there's going to be a contrasting style here. Jabari Moody is very, very open and does a great job. He's a former twister. We talked about that influence back a couple of matches ago, Kevin. But Dak Punky is a very hard-nosed kid, and I'm looking forward to a great match here.
Yeah, to me, Punky's got to get his hands on him and keep him from using his quickness and his athleticism. And right now, Punky's more than willing to try and athlete with him, if that's the correct terminology.
With the 106-pound place winners, please report to the awards area.
Moody, got to watch him last year, and he was real impressive with the speed and quickness he has. And again, it's nice to see a school, you know, Rich Central, not a wrestling powerhouse or whatever, have them have a boy in the state finals. In fact, looking to be back-to-back state champions.
Right. Well, and again, that's what I think, you know, kind of the allure is, you know, that's one of the great things about our sport is that you don't have to have an entire team, you know, and put everything together and, you know, necessarily to have some statewide acclaim, and, you know, everybody knows who these athletes are. And, you know, I can still think back to my high school days many, many years ago, and as I'm driving down I-80 or I-57 or areas of the state I haven't been, I can remember go through a town or remember a guy 20 years ago that was a wrestler there. I think that's kind of the allure of our sport, and it's kind of a neat thing.
That's what I think people north of I-80 understand. South of I-80, we don't have the facilities you people have up there. The wrestling's not a huge sport. It's more soccer and basketball. And it's really hard for our schools to fill 14 weight classes with kids. So it's great to see some of these schools who get a chance to, their 1 or 2 individuals get a chance to come out here and shine.
Now, Dak Punky, right now, there's nothing on the scoreboard, but the first almost minute of this match, he's done a great job. What he's done is he's not given up anything score-wise, any easy comfort moves to Moody. He's made Moody work for everything, and even though he doesn't have any points, he's mentally trying to wear Moody down. A lot of times when you come out, you think you have an advantage, and you're used to, you know, some of these better kids, they're used to just using motion and movement, and they're used to getting cheap takedowns and cheap scores just because they're so physically superior. And so, you know, Punky is taking that away right now. That's what he wants to do, and he wants him to have to work for everything.
Punky's in on a shot now, and again, if he gets in trouble, it just drive him off the mat. But he's showing the referee that, you know, I am being aggressive here. And going back to what you said, that's what Coach Medlin does so well over there. He gets these kids to believe in the system he has, and it's worked out to be a great system for him.
Well, you know, again, this is where he wants to be. 30 seconds left in the first period. He wants this match to stay as short as possible. He wants to have an opportunity to win in the third period.
And we're at 15 seconds left, first period. Nate Kesson would be our head referee, and Ryan McKeel is working with him.
Nate and Ryan are two of the younger officials that we have working the state tournament here, or I should say, you know, guys that we haven't seen as much. I'm giving them a compliment, calling him younger.
Yeah, well, compared to all us, they are. But same deal. We need more young officials.
It's good to see those guys.
Just like we talked about younger coaches before.
Right. It's something I remember when they both started officiating and started doing matches, and they've kind of come up through the ranks. So it's good to see them. And like you said, we certainly need a lot more of that. So Punky gets through the first period. He's going to go down first here.
Yeah, because Moody deferred, which is kind of surprising. But he doesn't want to go underneath maybe these Washington kids because they're so solid with that tip series that we mentioned before. And again, maybe he's just got that confidence. He's not going to go to that sudden victory part of it.
Well, there he is. Good job.
So Punky gets the escape. He'll lead 1-0. Like you said, Punky's hustling back there to the middle, maybe speed Moody up a little bit, get him out of that comfort zone that you talked about as a good athlete as he has, or is, that he gets in his comfort zone.
Well, again, he's gotten halfway through that match almost. He just wants to keep within striking distance. He doesn't want to give up anything easy. He just wants to make him work for everything. So he doesn't want any kind of cheap scores because he's in bad position. He wants to make sure he out-hustles his opponent any way he can.
Moody's starting to be a little more aggressive with him here. We're at a little over a minute left in the second period. Now Punky's doing a nice job keeping his hands on him to slow the match down. And we go out of bounds. 52 seconds left, second period. Punky leads 1-0.
Well, I think I can see it by Punky's record here. He's got 8 losses this year. So, and I know that when I look at a lot of the elite programs, you know, in the state, a lot of those kids, they don't have glamorous, glorious records as the 1 loss or undefeated. So obviously he spent some time wrestling some out-of-state opponents, and I'm sure that he's spent some time up a weight class wrestling in a dual situation for his team and been challenged. And you know, he's grizzled. You can see it's not important. I think that's one of the biggest things as coaches that I would tell young coaches is you see these kids here, and I know, especially since you know, I know a lot of the kids from our area, and when you wrestle that great competition throughout the season, it doesn't matter if you have. There's a nice duck by Jabari Moody. Great job there. There's that athleticism. Doesn't matter if you drop 4 or 5 matches during the regular season. If you're wrestling bigger schools, better competition, out-of-state competition, that's something that's going to come back and be there for you in the end.
And Moody will choose bottom in the third period. He leads 2-1. That's a big takedown in the last 10 seconds. But yeah, I know from Washington, they do a lot of traveling. They go to the big tournament over there in Ohio. They went down to the Granite City tournament, which for an in-state tournament is just a really nice one. We go down every year to broadcast that, and I really like the competition. A lot of Missouri schools come up and wrestle in that. So Punky's on top.
He's got him
top position. He leads, or he trails 2-1. I'm sorry. Here's where Moody doesn't look real comfortable under there, Coach.
Well, right now he's kind of coasting. I think he's serving up. He's going to come up hard. He wants to wait for his opportunity. Again, Punky's got to be very, very patient. Don't get overextended. There's plenty of time left. It's a point match.
Staying active with him on top. Now he bails out and gets 1. So Moody will lead 3-1 with over a minute to go. Shoots him out. Again, Punky needs to get his hands on him to be able to. You hear the huge cheer. There's some great things going on over in the AAA mat. Okay, we'll get back to ours. I had to catch a look over there.
Great job here with 20 seconds left now. This is where Punky wants to be. He's looking for that score.
Now he's got to force the action a little bit here.
He's got to keep that pressure on.
Yep. That takedown at the end of the second period is going to come back to haunt him, I think, because 5 seconds left. And Jabari Moody from Rich Central, a senior, will take an undefeated record to a second state championship. Punky from Washington, only a sophomore, falls a little bit short, but like we talked about, Coach, all you can do is give yourself a chance to win in this.
He had a great game plan. He did a great job, and you know, that's something that's going to come in handy for him. He's going to put that in. He's a 2-time place winner now, so he's going to be back to look for his junior year to look for that state championship.
The IHSA is motivation, effort, innovation, emotion, community. The future plays here, the Illinois High School Association.
Well, this is again one of the feature athletes that we have in 2A. Elijah Oliver from Washington is trying to become a 4-time state champion tonight. He won his other 3 titles in another state in Tennessee, and so nonetheless he'll still be a 4-time high school state champion if he wins here tonight. He's 20-0 undefeated this year against Jack Henderson, a junior from Bloomington. Now these two had met early in the year, and Oliver won a one-decided match earlier in the year. So right off the bat, Henderson's game plan has got to be to kind of get this match and extend it into the 3rd period.
Yeah, they were in the same regional, and I've got a chance to watch Oliver, and he's just a step above what I think Henderson has. But Henderson's so well coached over there. Mark Gardner from Bloomington does a great job, so let's see if he can weather the storm here.
Right from that body lock to the mat. Now he's in that Turk position also. Driving to that shoulder.
Yeah, and he'll get the near fall off of your Turk, and he leads 7-0. I'm sorry, had the earlier near fall. There's that tip that they use so well. And he breaks the tip for 3 more, 10-0. We're just 55 seconds into the match.
Jumps in the hole there on the far side for that cradle.
Didn't leave him there long enough to get the near fall. And Oliver had been hurt early in the year. I believe he had knee surgery and was able to bounce back the last couple weeks of the season, and then came in. I think he wrestled in their conference, then obviously the regional and sectional. And
He is a very explosive young man right here.
There's 2 more near fall. He'll lead 12-0 still in the 1st period.
Wants to hit that tilt again.
I think he's looking to try and get the tech fall in the 1st period. It's not going to work for him. We'll go to the 2nd period. He leads 12-0.
Well, we can say all we want up here that Jack Henderson wanted to have a game plan to weather the storm, but it's a lot easier said than done.
Too big a storm to weather for this one.
Against an athlete the caliber of Elijah Oliver. I mean,
Oliver came to put on a show tonight.
Absolutely.
As there's 2 more, he'll lead 14-0. He cuts him 14-1. There will be the takedown, 16-1. very impressive performance. State champ for the 4th year. Elijah Oliver from Washington, undefeated this season.
From the gridiron to the hardwood, on the links or on the track,
Ball is fumbled, scooped up by Zach Dahl.
on the diamond or on the ice. Go to prepfilms.com. It's easy. You can order your DVD online. At prepfilms.com, you make the memories. We'll make them last forever.
I'm here with Elijah Oliver, newly crowned state champ from Washington High School. However, Elijah also won 3 state championships in Tennessee. Talk to us about what it's like to come back home to Illinois, where you started your wrestling career prior to high school, and to finish up with a high school state champ.
Oh, it's a blessing. I'm so thankful just to be back, to get a state championship in Illinois. I always wanted to when I was a young kid. And my dad said, you know what, we're going to move back to Illinois. You're going to finish off your senior year in Illinois. And I was just real thankful and happy to be back.
Now, you kind of dominated in that match. Ended up with a tech fall. Just what was the battle plan going in?
Score as many points as possible. Find a way. If you pin them, pin them. If you got to get the take. If you got to get the major, whatever, just keep wrestling. Don't stop wrestling. Because that was one of the things that I battled with throughout this whole tournament. Just when I got underneath the lights, I paused. And somehow I got through it. I just want to thank God for just allowing me to stay focused throughout that match and get the dub.
Now, you're over at Washington. You got a couple great coaches in Brian Medlin and T.J. Williams. Talk about their influence on your career.
It's awesome, man. They're great guys. They always come and help us and improve our training skills and improve areas where we need help at. So it's always great to have those guys around.
Well, your high school wrestling career is pretty much over with. What's the future hold for Elijah Oliver?
I'll be at IU in the summer, training, hopefully competing for a national title next year or the year after, depending on whether I wear a shirt or not. But other than that, just college.
Now, IU is Indiana University, the Big Ten. You ready for those wars?
Yes, sir. I'm going to keep training hard and keep believing in God, and I know He'll pull me through.
Well, there you have it. Washington High School's got another state champ tonight. This one's name is Elijah Oliver, a 4-time high school state champion. Congratulations. Nice job out there, son.
Thank you.
And that's going to wrap it up for us tonight, Coach. Some great matches. We hope you all enjoyed it. We enjoyed bringing it to you. Any last words for us before we sign out?
Well, again, I just think that some of the performances, I know, one of the things that I like to see is looking at the different levels of wrestling, and we saw some great things and some great athletes here on the 2A mat, and obviously there was some great things going on the 1A and 3A mat as well. But I think it's a win-win for wrestling tonight. Congratulations to all the young men who made it to the state tournament, particularly those who made it to the finals tonight, and to their coaches. So great job by all those young men, and I guess we'll see you next year.
Yeah, I hope so. Hope we're all back again. Always great working with you,
Sounds great.
Coach.
Thank you.